behind the wall. He's heard me.
Crossword game.
Yep. I'll tell you about it later. Call the meeting to order promptly at 6:55, 5:55, sorry. And first of all, I'd like to welcome Kevin Nelson.
Correct.
To our meeting, the new Park and Rec Department Director. Welcome to Mitchell.
Thank you again.
You will find that this board is the easiest board to get along with, no matter what you've heard.
Except for Joe.
We'll take care of that.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're lying to you.
So we look forward to working with you.
Thank you. I think I look forward to working with you all as well.
That's a good politically correct statement. All right, public input. Brian.
This past Monday night, I was listening to the city council meeting, and they were discussing the lake project. And I listened to it for about an hour, and they came up with a couple of different options to do. But the one thing that concerned me the most was the fact that they didn't bring up anything regarding, okay, if you drain the lake and dredge it out, what are we as a golf course and what is Cadwell Park going to do about water? Especially when we've got all these plans for upgrading. If we don't have water, we might as well bang it.
Talking about that, Jason.
Yeah, well, I specifically brought it up, but it's been stated to me that it'll be taken care of as part of all the plan. Part of the plan is that they have to supply our 4 pump stations water. So if we do not have access to water from the lake, it might be city water, it might be something else. So there will be water on that end of the lake, but it's just going to be a lot further away. So my current pumps would not work in that situation. So something would have to be done. We just don't know what
There's the
exactly.
Cadwell pumps right there too.
Yes. So Cadwell,
Cadwell's gonna be in the same boat.
Cadwell Cemetery has its own golf course, and then the soccer complex. Soccer complex would probably be in the biggest trouble because that's on the other end of the lake. But it's been discussed, I've been assured that it will be taken care of. And trust me, I've been thinking about it ever since I heard the words drain the lake. So,
That's the first I've heard that the idea was mechanical. That's the first time I've heard of that. Then what's the other terminology for where you use your ship and you suck it out?
Well, that's all well and good, and I'm glad at least somebody has talked to you about it. But the bottom line is, we need to be assured 110% that we will have access to water. Otherwise, all the upgrades we make out there are going to be a waste of time. And to have just somebody say, well, we'll make sure you have water. Well, number one, if they use city water, who's going to pay for it?
I'm assuming that would have to go into the project because,
Well, and we have no money in the budget for water.
yeah.
So, I
So-
mean, to me,
That would go into the, I'm sure it would go into the lake dredging project.
that's where it should go.
It's never been discussed.
Well, I mean,
That was the first time I heard we were gonna, I don't know if that's gonna apply. People want 3 years of a dry lake.
But so the way I understand it, it's possible that they might just drain down the lake for now. And if they do that, even if they drop the lake 15 feet, my current pump station is useless because it has a wet well. You don't just extend the intake out, that doesn't do you any good. So it's been discussed, and it's, before it happens, it needs to be taken care of, and there needs to be a plan in place, so.
well, I think the plan needs to be in place soon, simply because we're planning on upgrades out there soon.
Yeah, if there's not a steady water supply, there is no sense of going forward, so.
No.
Yep. Yep.
Well, I don't know. I mean, my question to the board then is, how do we put ourselves up front to where we can address these kind of concerns rather than having just somebody
I
say,
don't think you'll have to.
I think we have two people right here that just
Yeah.
That'll all be done before they.
just got addressed.
it'll all be done before they decide to do the dredging.
If they do the dredging. if
But
there's
in the
money.
meantime, we're probably gonna be doing upgrading.
More important than upgrading, I mean, yeah, water, you lose your drinks. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's not gonna happen.
yeah, there would be far-reaching consequences if we don't have water for the fairways. I mean, a guy could haul water to the greens, but you can't haul water to fairways, and you can't for a short time basis, so it's,
Well, will the city water be any good for the golf course? I've never found it to be any good for the yard.
there's other chemicals in it and stuff, so I mean, it's not, number one, it's gonna cost a lot of money. So number one, you don't want to do it unless you have to. Number two, yes, there are some chemicals, and I've never used city water, so I would have to do a little research into that, but I think that's the last ditch option. I have looked into if there is aquifer in the area that we could do a well. With the lake right there, it might not be that deep, and it might not cost that much, and it might be a backup source down the road, so. At this point, there is no answer because nobody really knows for sure what's going to happen, so, but it has been discussed, so.
It's on the radar. Any other public input? Any delegations? Approval of the minutes from our February meeting. Joe? John? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Financials. Both cemetery bills.
As far as the bills, there's really nothing. I had $904 technical support from irrigation computer. Next month, or actually I just submitted it, there's actually a $13,000 bill for support and new irrigation computer that was in the budget. Other than that, as far as bills, if somebody has a question on something, but everything's pretty straightforward.
Did you get all the fertilizer orders before the increase?
I didn't get it ordered before the first year. I had to wait till after the first year. But I do have all my granular fertilizer ordered. Some of the fungicides I don't have ordered yet, but they're holding pretty steady with what it's been. So it's been.
Would that be a problem with the availability of fertilizer?
I've got what I've got ordered is what I'll need for the year. So I won't have a problem down the road with everything going over across the ocean. It very easily could be, and it could still keep on going up. So
Well, provided you get delivered to.
yeah, I actually had 4 pallets delivered today. So for Fairway Fertilizer.
Great.
So.
I just hope you don't have to pay what I had to pay for.
The 4 pallets I got here so far, they were a couple dollars more per bag, so I mean more than what I paid last year, but it wasn't as much as I've been hearing, and I've been hearing double on some products. So I did my research on. I found one that was too much, and just kept on looking, and I didn't sacrifice on quality of the product, but I tried to get a comparable product.
Before we get too far ahead, I should have done this at the beginning. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? And I kind of skipped over that.
Most certainly. Again, my name is Kevin Nelson. I started in recreation in the early 90s. My first job out of college was in Marshall Park Recreation in Marshall, Minnesota, where I worked with community education as well. From there, I spent 19 years in Perham, Minnesota, doing park and recreation, in addition to the executive director of a community center. And from there, I went to Austin, where I've been for 3 years, the director of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry. Same role as here.
Very good.
You have family ties here.
My wife's 2 brothers live north of town here. So yes, some family ties.
I knew your wife's parents very well. I was in guards with her dad, so.
Okay, that would be my wife's sister-in-law. That would be Letcher.
Yes.
Was that the Revolutionary War, or what?
Yeah,
was-
One before that. I don't remember.
Okay. Let's check.
Well, the 100-Day War here.
The 6 days.
Okay.
Sorry.
President,
Gonna be
you
an
know
agent here.
what, you know what happened when those around come.
I know, that's why I do the preemptive strike, but anyway.
Okay.
All right, we appreciate that. Yeah, you golfer?
I don't call myself a golfer, but I can golf.
Well, that's pretty much fits in well then. I'd ask you if you're a cemetery goer, but we're not to that point.
Thank you for not asking.
Although some of us are closer than others. All right, Jason.
He's on fire.
You gotta approve the bills.
Oh, I didn't think we had any bills.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
I thought you said there weren't any.
No, I said there,
Oh,
nothing major, nothing out of the ordinary except for the one.
Thanks, Adrian.
So,
Motion to approve the bills.
So moved.
Ryan? Joe? All in favor, say aye. Very good.
Was I the only one in the paper?
No, it was unanimous. Revenue expense report.
so as far as starting the golf course, the ones that's kind of stand out, for the Golf Pro contract, there was a little bit of a mix-up at the end of the year, so there's actually only 1 month of Eric's contract in here where there should be 2. So that's still in last year, so. Other than that, some of the supplies on each side are a little higher, but on the golf course side, just really one category. Well, 2 categories in computer software and then supplies and materials, and a lot of that is just I ordered some stuff earlier than I did last year. So, revenue, we're, according to this, we're about 4,000 ahead of last year. But at the end of March, we were at 94,000. So we got a little ways to go, but we've already also were open for almost a week last year. So if we open yet this week or whatever, they'll come back up pretty quickly. And most of what that money was is money that would be coming anyways. It's not like we were missing out on greens fees, that kind of stuff. Salaries are a little bit higher because of the extra full-time staff since the first of the year. So, any questions on the golf course? No? Okay. Cemetery side, about $2,000 behind in revenue. A lot of that is we have not had very many funerals yet this year. We were at 7,900 in openings last year at the end of February. Well, we're only at 750 for this year, so we're just well behind. And some of that is it's come in, but we just haven't gotten it deposited yet. So that makes up some of it, but not all of it. We've already sold 3 times the amount in columbarium spots, so That's actually more, so. So that's kind of taken up a lot of slack for now. Salaries also are up just a tick, just because some of my salaries now coming out of cemetery also. Supplies and materials are up. The significant amount of that is we had a broken windshield in one of the snow removal equipment. So that's most of that. $1,000 in fuel, whereas last year we hadn't spent anything yet. And then the other thing that we had spent at this point last year and haven't spent this year is for the equipment that we got last year. So. Other than that, unless somebody has a question about something, it's pretty straightforward.
Are you able to prepay your fuel quite a ways in advance or not? Just as you need to fill it?
Just pretty much as we go. I did fill, which isn't on this, but last Tuesday I got things the Tuesday before. I did get everything filled up, so I do have another $3,500 bill from there. So I filled up at the clubhouse and all mine. So I got in. It was starting to go up, but it ain't gotten real bad yet. So.
You don't bid your fuel for the year?
Nope, never have.
City doesn't?
The street shop does.
They do it monthly.
Yeah.
That's about as far out as they will extend it.
Yeah. Right now, I'm sure they probably won't extend any further than that. And when I talked to the fuel guy today, he said at least it's starting to do this and not this. So I mean, nobody knows. And typically in the past, I didn't just because I just, talking to the fuel guy and everything, I just haven't. Maybe in the future I will, but.
565, I seen decent on this week.
Hmm. Yep.
Just with produce and our trucking there's going to be a drop charge on everything. Kristen's pickup and pretty picked up.
Anything else on that?
For financials, no, I mean, unless somebody has questions.
We're off and running to try and match last year.
Yep, that's the goal. I mean, we just haven't gotten a running start yet, and Eric's got some product in, and he just went on a golf trip, and we kind of were planning in case if we were, and so
Yeah.
when Mother Nature says it's time to go, it's time to go.
So dig, well,
Are you back to that funeral thing again, or where are we at here?
Huh?
Yeah.
72 is Sunday here.
Yeah.
So how deep is the frost?
It was down to 36 inches earlier this winter. What it is right now, I'm not sure. We haven't had to dig one, and we've had one in the last, we've had one burial so far this month.
Really?
Yep. It's been extremely, it's the one business you hope you're slow. Yeah. Yeah, we're selling lots, but we're not doing any burials, so. I'm not trying to get out of work, it's just, yep.
Okay, let's move on to superintendent's report.
For the cemetery, just a couple pieces we're winding down on equipment. The payloader was down for 2 months again. So this is the second year in a row that's been down for an extended period of time. Parts just aren't available for that model and brand, so might have to be addressed in the near future. 6 trees need to be removed yet, 4 in the Calvary also. Servicemen want us to remove some of those cedar trees. They don't want all of them out, but they were going to give us X amount of dollars, and we were going to figure out how many we can get out. We had a meeting with the church about the mapping, so they were all in with that, so they'll decrease the fee for that. There was also a donation for the servicemen in the Legion to pay for that portion, so we had decided to do the whole thing, and that alleviates the non-city parts of it, so that was great. Took John, and John, he's in the cemetery, but we went to a conference here last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll get into that a little more. I think I found a 228 out front mower, really low hours, so I'm waiting to hear some more details on that. That's the exact mower that we're looking for. Is a little bigger deck, but we can switch out the deck. So, community garden, we're up from this right now, but last week when I wrote this, we were at 53 out of 125 spots rented. A little bit of fence repair needs to be done. We had a couple areas that were pretty poor performing, so we're going to look into that a little more, keep an eye on it, see if we need to do some amending or whatnot. For the golf course, I attended the conference the 7th through the 9th in Sioux Falls. I took Alex and John to that. They're pretty green on turf stuff, so it was good for them to get to all 3 days of it. When we got back, I got a lot of questions from them, so that was good that they were asking this and that about all of it. There were speakers from Oregon State, Purdue, Utah, and several other speakers that have been in the industry for 10, 20, 30 years. Some of the topics were technology, chemicals, diseases, leadership, irrigation, safety, and compliance. So kind of the wide gamut of it. The one speaker that we had was in Colorado, and they just got done with a $5.4 million irrigation system. That was quite interesting to sit through that. So.
Do they talk on the ash borer anymore? It's kind of just going away. So.
It's there, but
I don't know how
Sioux
Falls it got.
Yeah.
I heard something in Hartford.
Yeah. It's around. It's going to get here. It's just a matter of when. I don't think nobody's come up with a golden bullet to stop it. It's just a matter of when. So I have, over the last couple of years, I have sat through some meetings. Our pesticide recertification we sat through. It was all online, and one of the classes was majority emerald ash borer and some other ones. So main thing is scouting for it, and if you want to treat for it, you can. But once you start treating, you're treating forever on those trees. So, but he did suggest not necessarily start treating now, wait until it's kind of in the area, and then because a 2-year treatment. So
I think Shane does that, don't he?
I'm probably, yeah, those guys over there, they're probably already doing it. And the key is to pick what trees you want to salvage down the road. So pick and choose what you want, and then treat them, and then just start cutting up. If it's damaged, get rid of it. If it's bad crotch, if it's in the wrong spot, whatever, get rid of it, and then just start planting. They keep on pushing variety of trees. Don't plant just one kind of tree. So I guess that's kind of the approach. And I have 183, I believe, on the golf course and 80 some in the cemetery. So when it gets here, it's going to be a big deal. So.
So many ash trees you have?
Yep. So we'll get to this in a little bit, but we had the pump repair that ended up being a little more than what we thought. So continuing on tree work, filled the fuel tanks while it was low. I've ordered a good chunk of my fertilizer and chemical. Like I said, I still got some chemical to order. Working on some equipment, and grinding rails, so we're kind of wrapping up on that also. Got a couple more I got to do, but some of it I'm saving till a little bit into the season, let them get chewed up and then grind them after they get the sand on the greens and the plugs on the fairways and that kind of stuff, so.
How do you turn up on range balls? Would you ever come up?
I've been, keep on looking, I can't find yellow striped range balls. I mean, they're,
Imagine that.
and you trying to get a logo on it's even,
2 years down the road.
yeah, they're not
You
even,
can't do much more.
yeah, so
You could probably order new ones with nothing on it, but if we go the route of getting a business and a logo, it's 2.5
You can't
years.
find new ones, just yellow and straight.
There's a couple of them that, brand new ones, they might have been a year down the road. If we would order them now, we wouldn't get them till next spring.
and some of those were,
Anywhere.
no. Some of those are the little bit softer ones, so they aren't gonna hold up as well on a driving range. The harder ones that we were hoping for the driving range, so they last a little longer, are really hard to get a hold of, so.
Wilson, I think, was actually, when I emailed him, there's 2 years, whether it was logoed or non-logoed, to get them in. If we order them in March, we'd get them 2 years from now in March.
What about online?
You like used ones, or I haven't looked at that, I guess.
I've been looking,
Oh my God.
yeah.
What's wrong with that? How about the golf carts? I heard they had a 40% reduction on, so the salesman had to pick who's gonna get them and who isn't.
So a week ago, I texted them to see where things were at. Essentially, I got back, they had to cancel 300 units, but he was going to get back to me if ours were included in on that. So I don't know at this point. I just honestly, I don't.
You remember what month we were in?
It's about April last year. Or was it into March?
I think it was more end of March-ish, but
Yeah.
close to April.
So essentially, we're just about a year from when we ordered them. And I talked to Club Car at the trade show, and they said they're 12 months out right now. So,
We'll have another year of, will this be the 11th year of those cards?
no, this will be the 9th.
9th year.
Yeah.
You're not expecting them this year at all?
I don't know. I just don't know.
They still have to honor the bid.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna give us 2 years newer cart, this same bid? I'll have to ask Justin that.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where,
The
because,
only thing is our used ones, you know, they're probably almost double what they were, except for now they're getting every year. They're
Yep.
getting older.
yeah, because I'm gonna, if we don't have a for sure answer, I'm gonna have to stick some money into them here just to get them by, so. I mean, we might go in there and start pulling them out, and we might have half of them with dead batteries. Those are the original batteries in there. I mean, that's 9 years, or 8 years, and starting to get a little hairy, so.
You mentioned doing that.
So how many trees did you take down at the golf course?
45. We had that big one between 6 and 13 went down the end of last week. It's been meaning to being cut down for about 3 years now, or probably longer than that. That's how long I've been here, so. There's about 10 more that are smaller, and the 5 behind number 6 green,
You took those out?
not yet.
Tomorrow.
The reason why I left them is just for protection from the winter. I didn't want to open it wide open and not have any protection to that green because it's used to it, so. So there's a few more, but a majority of the tree work is done. I was hoping to get a lift truck out there to do some hangers and stuff, but I think we missed our window on that. We'll see. Might get cold again for a night or two, and might have a chance, but we'll see.
Anything else?
Oh, unless we have any other questions?
Eric, do you have anything?
It's kind of the same from previous reports. It's just I was out there all day today, like Jason mentioned, ordered some product. My pricing will be contingent on what the pricing is of hot beer, food, all that stuff. So once I get all that stuff in this week, Pro Shop inventory starting to come in. Continuously working on the schedule of events. That'll be I think me and Jason will have to sit down here and just confirm everything with the events, and then wait till me and Jason talk, and once we get the course open, just go from there. Get membership started taking in and get play. See if we open the range first. And
I was looking at something. Did you say anything about those two tournaments that were brought up?
which ones were they?
The middle school.
Oh, yeah. There's a couple tournaments that I met with Corey Odland, 2 weeks ago. They used to be hosted, they're JV and middle school tournaments that are 18-hole shotgun starts. They used to be held at Huron. Huron doesn't have barely a varsity team, let alone JV and middle school teams. So they're in the process of working those somewhere else, and they usually go to centrally located places like Mitchell. They would be Tuesday, September 6th, and Monday, September 12th. I think when me and you talked, Jason, last, we were possibly able to take one of them with the schedule as of right now, which would have been,
First one, wasn't it?
no, it
I
was
didn't
the
bring
second
this-
one. It
I
would be
didn't-
moved to the 23rd of September, a Friday. That leaves from Sunday to Saturday, a full week from the 18th to the 24th. 5 tournaments in 7 days from Sunday to Monday in September. So, yeah, those are out there as we get more. I mean, me and Jason are just, we're trying to fit what we can in, but there's just some that are either going to have dates that you can't take or too many tournaments in a row. Like, 7 out of, these are all big ones that are 70 to 100 kids, or people, I guess I should say. The ESD one would be 60 kids, 9 teams.
It's not that we're against kids or anybody else, it's just we gotta consider the members too, and that's the only reason why at this point we even consider not accepting that tournament, so.
Just do your thing, and if
Yep,
your
yep,
disagreement, we'll bring it up.
yep. So,
Just you, Joe.
You mean the cost of membership? The cost of membership? That's an interesting concept. Yeah. Everything's going up in the country except golf is gonna get cheaper.
I believe that's, till we get open here, I'll just kind of be at the clubhouse getting things done.
Do you anticipate opening this week?
very decent possibility. I'm not saying yes or no right now, but
Right.
it's,
Looking at the forecast,
the snow gets gone, things firm up a little bit, it's a pretty good possibility.
Is it frost out of the ground?
No, no.
probably cart paths and walking.
Yeah, yep. We'll probably open the driving range the day before and then open the cart paths and, so.
Are you out there regular hours or?
No, not right now. I'm out there 9 to 4 today,
Sure.
probably 9 to 4 tomorrow, and then come Wednesday, Thursday, when we decide what's going to happen, then we'll kind of do a consistent schedule of opening and stuff. I got your wedge too.
Did the price go up on that?
Yeah.
Killing me. All right. Pump repair.
So I had about $8,000 budgeted for the packing boxes on the pumps. Well, when we took the motors off and we pulled the pumps, we were finding some other things. So literally the one pump, if I would have let it go another a year, 2 years, the bottom would have fell off and would have been major damage. So all said and done, while we were at it, we saw something small with the motors. We sent that in. That's probably the biggest. That's about $7,000. So the total bill about $25,000. So it is significantly higher. Me and Kevin met with Stephanie last week. Essentially, what we'll have to do is take it out of our project money. So. Actually close to 9,000 is budgeted for that because I did get that cooling box already and there'd be about 9,000 left. So there'd be about 16,000 that would have to come out of project money.
It's got to be done.
So, but essentially those pumps, essentially they're going to be new. I mean, they're not new, but as close as they can be. So by the time they're done. So there'll be new shafts, there'll be new packing boxes, there'll be, the motors will be gone through and new bearings and good shape. They've been, those pumps have been in for 20 years, so it's, I'm not positive if Kevin ever pulled them out or not, so. But essentially, like I said, it's got to be done. The biggest kicker on it, the motor work is 3 weeks out and the pumps are 4 weeks out, so there might be extra cart restrictions until I get those up and running, so if we start to dry off. Don't want to do it, but if we're starting to dry out down and I don't have those up and running, we might have to. So,
Are both pump shafts sent off then?
what's that?
Are both pump shafts being worked on then?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yep. So I still have pressure maintenance pump down there, which I could fill the lines and possibly hand water greens, but that's not the ideal situation. So.
Okay.
Have to approve that.
We need a motion to approve that. That quote.
Yeah, you'll have to approve that.
Joe. Tom, second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Do you have discussion?
I had to.
Passes. Equipment.
So we had discussed a while back on, since I wasn't getting the greens mowers till later in the year, the possibility of turning it into a package. So this is the work I've done so far. So this sheet, it gives, so the piece of equipment, the year, wasn't able to get all the years because I don't know how to read the serial numbers. They have them coded, so. And then the hours, there's an industry standard to convert hours to miles, so that's what that next column is. replacement date, tentative, hour threshold, replacement price, hours that I put on per year, and service of years. So, as you can see, there's multiple pieces with 6,000 hours, 5,000 hours. It's just waiting to get caught up. So that was kind of the whole thing on that. The two green ones up here are the ones I'm have approved to replace right now. What I had proposed was fairway mower, rough mower, possibly sprayer, and a couple workments. And that's on these other sheets, a breakdown of that. I had talked with Kevin and Stephanie about this, and they didn't know if I wanted to go forward with this right now. Just to jump into it, which is understandable. The biggest issue with that is just the availability. So, I mean, I understand where they're coming from, but so then if you go to the next deal, so there's two different ones. There's pretty much only difference on them is there's two sprayers for them, a sprayer for one, sprayer for the other. It's two different sizes, and other than that, it's all the same. Two greens mowers, two extra sets of cutting units, a blower, a fairway mower, a wide area mower, and a sprayer. And then the two workmans, I've had two different departments that have contacted me if I replace the workmans, that they would want my old ones. So that's the only reason why I threw them in. That would be the first thing to go. The sprayer would probably be the next. But so if you look at that, that amount is actually only trading in the two greens mowers that we're already trading in. There's actually probably about $25,000 to $30,000 worth of either selling equipment or trade-in. So if you take that into consideration, and if the city would want to just pay the $80,000 that we have budgeted this year towards that, it actually gets the payments down to about $55,000 for the next 5 years. So Stephanie was very much in favor of the concept of this. She just didn't know if she would support jumping into it right now. So
This is basically, we'd had conversations about this, and we've brought it up at previous meetings, is having a fleet program basically through, in this case, Toro. So your main equipment would be newer or brand new to start with, instead of piecing it together like we have been doing over the years. The payment would be less per year, but it would be a longer payment. So instead of writing a check for $80,000 for the two mowers like we have, that would be lumped in, if I'm saying this right, into that annual payment. So you'd have the greens mowers plus everything else that's listed there, and at the end of the 5 years, you own it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, this isn't a true lease. It's a lease with a dollar buyout, if you want to say it that way.
There's a dollar buyout at the end of the product.
Yep. Yep. So.
To me, this makes really good sense in having your main equipment new. But
So, I mean, me and Kevin talked about it earlier. I mean, we got that payloader issue out there, and I guess, well, and I talked to Eric earlier today about possible projects in the clubhouse, and I guess maybe we just got to lay it out a little lay out anything that we think might be possible. And I had a project on the shop that got cut this last year, so I mean, it's, but, and we did discuss that we have those capital projects out there for the golf course, and I'm under that view of if we can't do this, we shouldn't be doing them. So, I mean, $55,000 worth of equipment in a year, we got a lot of catching up to do. So, and this is not every piece by any means. This is half my green mower fleet. It's one fairway mower, one wide area mower. And we got one used and one fairway mower, wide area mower last year. So essentially this would give me one brand new, one with fairly low hours, and one with a lot of hours on it. So it's a way to get into it, and hopefully when this 5-year period's over, we move on to the next group. And so
How does the warranty work on that?
usually it's a 2 or a 3 year, but you can get an extended up to 5 years. So it depends on the piece a lot of times. So essentially, when you get a new fleet or these newer pieces, for 2 years, you shouldn't have much of a cost except for basic maintenance and grinding, oil changes.
So this is something that she's willing to look at for next year to start?
Yeah, she seemed very enthused about it. I mean, well, she was very intrigued by it, wouldn't you say? I mean,
That's what I heard, but I also heard that if this was contingent upon the golf course cash flowing,
yeah,
then it wouldn't be a regular capitalized purchase. We would need to see that much of a flow coming through, not on a 1 year out of
Yeah.
5, but on it looks like the projections are this is going to
yeah,
flow well for future years, and that way we could base the payment of this upon operations. That was my understanding of that
Yep.
conversation.
Which makes sense.
yeah, 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 there's no arguing that. I mean, I totally understand that. And I guess will we make as much as we did last year? I hope so, but I mean, I think we're definitely going to be more than we were 2 years ago. So,
Well, right now, we're spending $80,000 to get 2 pieces of equipment versus we can spend $55,000 to have it over that. But I realize that's over a 5-year period.
yeah, well, the other part of that, to get down to the 55, that would be spending that 80 up front.
No, applying.
To get that payment down. If we didn't do that, then it would be up in that 65 or so.
Well, it's on the radar anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good conversation with her, and she was very open to it.
Receptive
Yep,
to the
yep,
idea, the
yep.
concept. It's just a matter of cash has got to be good.
Yep. So,
Okay. Anything else on that?
not unless somebody has questions. Like I said, this, the one with all the hours and stuff on, I got a little tweaking to do on that yet, but I mean, for the most part, it gives you a pretty good idea of what I've got out there. And this is not every single piece I've got out there. This is all my mowers and utility vehicles. I mean, I've got aerifiers and top dressers and stuff, but typically those, you run them until they're implode, basically. Either that or you trade them in, but I guess this is the meat and potatoes of everything, so.
Does that include the cemetery as well?
No, this is just golf. This is just golf course equipment. I've got a whole nother list for cemetery.
I didn't see that.
No, I didn't. Being in it, the cemetery ain't gonna get touched for sure right now, and this was just because we're enterprise fund, and we might have had a chance on this, but, since we're budgeted for 80,000, but it's out there and we're discussing it, so I think that's a good start to it.
Okay.
So,
I wonder if you get the mowers back in the golf carts.
Doubtful.
if we don't order anything till the end of the year, we probably won't see anything in 2023, I can tell you that, so.
Okay,
That's the way it
projects.
is. So, since we had some tree money taken care of, about 12,000, it'll probably end up being 13, maybe 14,000 when it's all said and done. And then this new pump issue, we will be whittling that down a little bit. As of right now, probably the only chance of me bringing in a contractor would be October, which is with all the tournaments and stuff we got going, that's probably all right. I have talked to Kevin Thurman about helping with some of the tee boxes. He was willing to do that. So we'd probably start with some of those forward tees and leveling some tees and stuff like that. So that's my general plan for before all of our tournaments and everything. It's just trying to fit in as many of those as we can. And then I guess the main thing is, do we want to try to move forward with the contractor after or into October? And if we don't, we'll still try to get what we can done. Main problem is if you only got $50,000 to work with, they got their mobilization and all that, so that eats up some of that. So two of the projects I was contemplating is the backsides of 9 and 18 greens. We would strip the sod, feather it out per se, take off some of the high spot, feather out some of those low spots, make parts of the back sides of those 2 greens a little more usable. That's an option, or dig into some bunkers, or maybe a couple of tee complexes that are a little more in depth that we don't want to tackle. So I guess, the forward tees, kind of what I'm wanting to do there is not necessarily have it a separate box out in the rough, but actually incorporate it into the fairway so we're actually mow right over it, is my plan for that. A lot of the leveling of tee boxes hoping to do with just top dressing them. Put some sand on so it doesn't bury them totally, and then use a beam or something to level the low spots. Some of them that have a crown, that ain't going to work, so we might have to strip some sod on some of them. It's going to be a tee box by tee box decision on how we address it. So
That's for something late in the fall.
some of that we're going to try to do this June. But what I want to do is when the member guest is and the state amateur, I want to have those projects wrapped up, and I don't want things tore up. So if we dig into some of those, it's going to be looking good at that point in time. So, and if we do the top dressing, really part of it, where we're just filling in some areas, the grass will still be poking through. It's just a matter of growing through it. So.
So you said the pump money is going to come out of our project money?
Yep.
Don't you think that's a capital issue on phase one, the pumps?
Well, the initial, the 8,000, that was proposed to come up, be part of phase one.
There's bumps, trees, and if anyone.
Oh, that's right.
Up T-Last.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cause remember he said they're gonna go down on him?
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
And the cooling box that I got, that was about $1,900. So, and that I have. So, the other thing that needs to be addressed is when we pulled the pumps, we have a massive root ball.
I was gonna ask you, did you get that out?
No, not yet. In the wet well around where the seam is, where the concrete comes together, there's massive root ball down there.
In it?
So at some point, we're getting together with the sewer.
Gate, we can shut off the water.
No, no. So we're going to get together with the water department, and they're going to come with some of their equipment. So we'll have to have a permit for it. We'll have to test, because it's enclosed area. We'll have to do all the right things, and then send one guy down in there and with a Sawzall, cordless, of course, but
Is that big of cracks on here?
well, I'm sure the roots, when they broke through it, expanded them, but yeah, it's a lot more than what I thought it
How
would be.
deep is it?
The bottom of the wet well is about 17 feet, 17. The bottom,
4 foot lower?
no, it's bigger than that. It's probably 6 foot. So,
When you do that project, I'm busy.
no offense, Dan, but I don't think you'd fit through the hole. It's about,
Yeah, that one coming in there.
it's about this big, so I'm thinking I might not fit through it, so it's not very big.
Lots of skinnies here to send in.
So anyway, so that's a issue that needs to be dealt with before we put the pumps back in, but I'm waiting for it to warm up just a little bit. And, see who shows up to work late that day. So anyways, I forgot to tell you about that.
Yeah, did you hear about that?
Sounds like Parks Department.
The littlest guy.
So, but I guess unless somebody has a direction that you think we would want to go, or on for in October, if you got a direction you guys think you would like me to go, or you just want me to keep you abreast of what I'm deciding, and
Yeah, I think so, leave it up to you
okay,
to steer the ship.
that's fine. If you had input, I wanted to get your input on it. If
Well, come late summer, early fall, we're gonna have to start having a discussion about phase two. And
no,
what we're gonna ask for
yep,
funding and budget-wise, so.
yep.
Yeah, what month do they require us to provide?
I've got a bill budget in June for next year.
It doesn't get approved till November.
I know,
Yeah.
but we have to have it done long before.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking last year was August.
Last year was because of COVID, remember they got thrown back the last 2 years.
Yep, and I'm assuming they're going to keep on going with that?
What's that?
I'm
I
assuming,
have no idea.
yeah, I haven't heard if they're going to keep with that time frame.
Well, I mean, I think if we wait till October, that'll be too late.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, give yourself an artificial deadline at least of June.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you could. I would.
yeah.
So,
We just need a check for 480-some thousand, so. It helps to make a note.
Right there.
Yeah, exactly.
so anyways,
Yeah.
I guess that's my general plan. If nothing's set in stone right now, it's more of a matter of, since we don't have access to the contractor, it's going to be what I can get done with what we have at the time, so. But if I am going to do the contractor in October, I need to do that here pretty quickly. So. And with what costs I'm anticipating for the rest of it, I'm figuring that number to be around 50 or so,
For the
give or
contractor to
take.
come in and do the greens?
Well, I don't know if they can do it for that.
Right.
Yeah. What I'll probably end up doing, I'll narrow down what the dollar amount is I think I'll have left, and then figure out what I think we can get done, and then have some conversations, and probably talk to Mr. Norby and get his input a little bit on that.
Me
What?
personally, I like 9 because it's such a short hole.
Yep.
You start getting where you can throw it again, all of a sudden it's a part 4.
Yep. I totally agree with you. It's just, once the speed of the greens get to a certain point, so few pin placements on there.
That one's not bad, 18's
Yeah.
old guys are coming in there with the wood.
Yeah.
For part 4, that's tough.
Not much longer.
You talk
Have a
about the
forward
old
tee up
guys.
there.
Veterans.
You're not a young buck.
Just don't go very far.
So, anyway, I guess that's where I'm at on the project, so. If, as always, you guys want to grab me and talk about it, or see the plan or whatever, just grab me or call me and we can talk about it.
Kevin, have you been briefed on our master plan project that we,
I was emailed the master plan, I've been shown the map of the plan a couple of times, I've got that in my office at the moment.
sounds good.
Wait.
I realize you just started, so
Yeah.
just know it's out there.
20 pages into the 98-page department master plan.
I've offered to, when he has time, to let me know, so.
Anything else for the good of the cause? Next meeting is 4/11/22. If my. Yep. We're done.